What's up? What's up, everybody? And welcome to the Black Side of Liberty. It's your man, Governor Wildstar, right here. I appreciate each and every one of you out there for tuning in to this very special episode with a wonderful guest who I will be introducing to you momentarily. But first, of course, you know what to do. If you're watching on YouTube, definitely be sure to hit that subscribe button ASAP. I'm already at almost at that 30,000 subscriber goal that I'm hoping to hit as soon as possible. The more, the merrier. So please definitely take any of those videos that you see on my channel. Be sure to share that shit as much as possible. Any of my viral videos, you know what I'm saying, that have millions of views of me getting arrested by cops or arguing against judges and prosecutors in the courtroom. Please be sure to share any of those videos, any of my videos out there of me on the campaign trail, or of course, you know, me doing any debates or discussions like this, Black Side of Liberty episodes. Please share those. Make sure that more and more people all across the nation are knowing what we're doing, all across the world. Even I know all of y'all out there. I got some people watching in Germany and England and all sorts of places. So all of you people out there that are watching, please be sure to, like I said, share. Sharing is caring, and it doesn't cost a thing. That's the thing. Is as far as me running for office, I am in need of funds, so please head on over to my website, governorwildstar.com, and click on that donate tab and make a contribution today. I'm asking for $5, $10, $20, any dollars. Let's just make this happen. But like I said, in order for it to get people's attention, it doesn't cost a dime, and we shouldn't have to be paying all of these millions of dollars to get people's attention. So please definitely share and do what you can to help me reach a larger audience. What we can do, we the people can do and have the power to do, all for the free. Okay, and let's make this a mission of ours. It's your due diligence. Make it your duty to go out there and spread the word of liberty. All right, and of course, definitely, like I said, please be sure to donate if you can. I am running for governor of California, so I need as many contributions as possible to be as competitive as I can and blow my opponents out the water. So head on over to my website, governorwildstar.com, and click that donate button to make a contribution today. So with all that said and done, of course, yeah, and definitely connect with me on social media as well. Click on any of those social media icons that you see on my website, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that bullshit. Just hit that any of those social media icons and connect with me. So moving along, y'all, election day is creeping up quick as hell. You know, November 3rd will be here before you know it. It's already the 13th of October. So next month, the first Tuesday, November 3rd, 2020, will be election day in America. And we have some great candidates all over the country, especially libertarian candidates that are attempting to challenge the two-party system and disrupt this whole bullshit, corrupt duopoly that we have in our country. And a lot of them are in two-way races. It's just them and an opponent, you know, whether they're a Republican or Democrat or whatever the case may be. You got libertarians on the ballot that have an opportunity to get elected. All they do is need you out there to get their asses elected. That takes money, that takes attention, and that just takes you out there bringing more attention to their campaign and what they're attempting to do. And since we can't rely on political parties to do that for us, we have to do it our damn self. So one of those candidates I actually have with me today, she's running in Hawaii as a Senate candidate, and her name is Feena Bonoan. What's up, Feena Bonoan?
What's up?
Black Side of Liberty, darling. I like your mask right there. I like how you're looking.
Well, I saw you wear yours, so I was like, oh, I guess
yeah, for sure. Well, you know, I got to come to the table with a different type of personality, but you yourself, you're already this glowing individual and one that is, like I said, seeking to become a representative for we the people out there in Hawaii. So, yes, she is running for Senate District 20 out there in Hawaii. Again, Feena Bonoan, thank you for being right here on the Black Side of Liberty with us.
Well, thank you, Governor. Thank you for having me. Aloha from the great state of Hawaii.
All right, for sure. I got to get that way sooner or later. I got some friends out there that been calling me and saying, hey, you need to come do some surfing and chilling with me on the beach and shit, smoke some good Hawaiian herb. So one of these days I'll make my way around there. And hopefully when I do, you will be in office as a representative of the people of Hawaii. So like I was telling our viewers out there, you are in a two-way race against a long-time, Democrat, a fucking Democrat. We definitely want to replace
Democrat. You say Democrat, but this guy's a classic case of the kind of politician no one really likes. He's a flip-flop. He used to be a Republican, and he lobbied a lot against LGBTQ issues. And then when he wasn't winning in Hawaii, because Hawaii is pretty much a Democrat state, he switched parties. And now he's a Democrat. Now he's a Democrat. And his daughter is Democrat. Say again?
He's another one of those cronies, you know what I'm saying? Flip-flopping, trying to make it seem like he really cares about us, but really he's just a neocon, another neoconservative, flip-flopping, acting like they care about the needs of we the people when only they care about themselves.
It's power hunger. It's a power hunger. I think of it as power hunger. Anybody that will trade their morals, their policies, their principles, what they've gone out to the public and said, this is what I stand for, this is what I believe, and then go switch it. To me, that's somebody that just wants to be in power. And in power, but my objective is not a selfish one, right?
Yeah, and not only that, but it's dishonest, you know. And if you're going to switch parties, at least stand for the same damn principles. You know what I mean? I'm personally running as a Republican, but a libertarian Republican, like Ron Paul. You know, I'm still going to be standing for the liberty principles and be proposing libertarian ideas. But again, using that Republican platform will give you a greater opportunity, a bigger soapbox to be heard by more people. But you are actually running as a libertarian against this Democrat, long-term Democrat or Republican, whatever the fuck he is, Republicrat. But if you could please, because I just learned about you this year in our convention. I heard a little bit about you, did some more research, and I'm like, I got to get here right here on the Black Side of Liberty. So I'm glad that you're here because your election day is coming up soon, and we definitely want to get you elected. So if you could please just tell the people out there, who is Feena Bonoan? I mean, who the hell are you?
All right. I am Feena Bonoan. I was born in Florida. I was raised in North Carolina, and I live in Hawaii. I was in the military for 10 years, and my last duty station was out here in Hawaii, and I chose this duty station. I chose this duty station with the caveat of having one of the worst jobs I can think of for me personally in the military to have, and that was to be a prison guard, because I absolutely, I don't have a shining experience with the criminal justice system, considering the circumstances that my brother is under. And so a little bit about me is I've always been into the arts. I was in the military, like I said, for 10 years, where I was a computer networking technician for the weapons system. I was also a community relations coordinator across the world, literally in other countries and here in America as well, and working with nonprofit organizations. And my last tour, like I said, was as a prison guard. Once I got out of the Navy, I went and took my GI Bill, because that's the only way I was going to get to go to college, was to, join the military and work for it. I went to college out here at Hawaii Pacific University. Originally, I was doing computer science stuff. I realized that even though I'd already spent 3 years in military school, which is way more difficult, way more strenuous than any university level that I've experienced, or any school level. It was still going to take me 4 years to get a computer science degree. And so I kind of was like, all right, well, I've always really liked the arts. I've always been kind of artistic person. And so I was like, well, I would like to learn more about the other side of technology, where it's not building applications, but actually using them and finding ways to reach people through the media. And so that's why I became a media arts major. And I've made a couple of films since then while I was in the school. One of them was winning awards. It still is winning awards. and it's based off of military procedural compliance, and it's a farce. It's kind of a musical comedy, if you will. And I say I've been winning awards, but since the coronavirus happened, I've kind of stopped winning awards. And the reason that is because the content of my film is something that rings a little bit more true now than when I filmed it and wrote it. When I filmed it and wrote it, there was no idea of a pandemic happening or anything. And so what the film aesthetically looks like is it's a bunch of different people, all different types of people, wearing solid white jumpsuits in a solid white room, and they're hitting a wall. And it's supposed to be, and it is a parody about procedural compliance and the whole rat race that everyone goes through of showing up at a new job and learning the ropes and finding something that's really stupid to do, and everybody's doing it, and you end up doing it too. Not only do you end up doing it, you start telling other people to do it too. Like, there's a cycle to it. And it's a cool film, but like I said, it's one of those that's going to strike people throughout time, because there's always going to be this rat race. There's always going to be this whole idea of when you go somewhere, you're going to want to find something to improve upon. And there's always going to be a structure, a power structure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that power structure seems to be engulfing us all. I mean, like you said, with this whole coronavirus lockdown, it's pretty much expanded tremendously the government overreach and oversight, over our personal lives, where you go, who you're with, what you're eating, how you're eating it. In the state of California, they tell you to wear your mask in between bites if you're out at a restaurant. I mean, it's
that here in Hawaii too.
Wow.
Here in Hawaii, that didn't happen in California, is we shut down again. Shut down again, even though we're the state with the lowest number of cases.
It's ridiculous.
We shut down again, and they when they came out of this last shutdown that they did, they came up with this tiered process, and oddly enough, we should still be, I mean, it's not really odd. It's completely predictable. Mm-hmm. These numbers that they came up with originally, they're not obtainable. These tiered system, the last tier, when there's no cases and it's like basically eradicated, we still don't have public we still don't have public transportation.
Wow.
People, and it's not a going back to normal. It's a going back to something they can control and tell people how to live their lives.
Yeah.
And run their businesses. That's what I mean, I get the masks. I'm not saying coronavirus isn't real, because it is real. And the masks are good. But the virtue signaling that's out and about right now is kind of ridiculous. Okay, people riding in their cars by themselves wearing masks. I mean,
those are the biggest idiots, I swear.
Because I think it's silly. I'm running for office, and one of the big things out here in Hawaii to get people to notice you and see that you're running for office, to see that you're active and doing things, is to go out and sign wave. And they do that across the country. And because of the coronavirus, I'm not having a big group of people with me to sign wave. It's usually just me and one other person, and usually that other person is my husband. And I don't feel the need to wear a mask, because here's something. When I wear a mask, and I have worn a mask out sign waving before, no one looks at me, no one smiles, no one waves, nothing.
Yeah, of course.
Take that mask off.
Right. But I'll let you with that one. Maybe you should just wear that mask while you're out there. You already have
the muscles in my face, that's for sure.
Exactly. Yeah, that is like the dumbest thing, wearing damn masks. And I realized that myself the other day. I was talking to my wife about it. I'm like, I'm wearing this damn muzzle, and I'm smiling at kids and, people that are being friendly towards me. They can't see what the hell. They can't see my facial expression, but
they can see your eyes. You know what? They can see your eyes. And I believe that good intentions and good feelings that you have, that you radiate when you smile, when you think good things about other people, that shines through any mask.
You're right.
Even the mask you're wearing now.
It's still stupid as hell, though. But yeah, at least this one has a smile. You know, I can hopefully.
When I go to the grocery store, I want to wear a mask. When I go to Walmart or something, I want to wear a mask. When I'm standing on a corner of not even a street, it is a street, but I'm standing in like a lawn that's like 20 feet from the sidewalk or any cars passing by and there's nobody there. I don't think I need to wear a mask.
Right.
I can see somebody coming. And
so since we're on the topic of this whole mask ordeal and the coronavirus, and you know, it is definitely one of the topics that, of course, most that are on the minds of most Americans here in our country. And Hawaii is one of those places.
Everyone. That's why it's something that everyone has been made to do.
Yeah. So with that being said, I mean, I know Hawaii, of course, has its own problems. So, and you as a district representative, I'm pretty sure you're aware of what those problems are in your community. So your opponent, let's see, this guy, Mike Gabbard, he's been passing or pushing legislation that seems a bit dumb. I mean, we got as far as July 13, 2020, relating to driver's license aligns the commercial driver's license qualification standards with federal regulations. He also got relating to school facilities, establishes school facility agencies to be responsible for all public school development. You got agriculture bills.
That's my favorite one that he is really, really proud of, and I'm sure you're seeing it because it's probably like near the top of his list because he is super proud of this. Okay, Hawaii, home of Kona Gold, Maui Wowie, and all those wonderful marijuana strains that I'm actually going to hit right now. I'm going to hit some.
All right. I definitely need to hang out with you one day soon.
He legalized industrial hemp.
Ah, okay.
Industrial hemp. I'm not smoking industrial hemp. No, I'm smoking some homegrown that was farmed right up in North Shore. That's
right. They
want reform, and they asked for recreational marijuana. They weren't asking for industrial hemp. Industrial hemp is great. That's great, but that's not what the people were asking for. That's not what they wanted. We were one of the first states to have medicinal marijuana, and we're one of the last states to get a dispensary.
Wow. It sounds a little bit like California. We were pioneers in the marijuana.
No, California is good. California is recreational.
Yeah, but we were slow. We could have been one of the first, but that went to Washington, Nevada, Washington, D.C., all of these other states ended up becoming recreational before the state of California, which actually just jumped on the bandwagon last year. But with regards to this opponent of yours sponsoring all of these bullshit bills, I want to ask you, since he seems a bit out of touch with reality, with those concerns of his constituency, what are the dire issues out there for you people in Hawaii, where you are?
Well, I think the biggest issue right now is the economy, because that affects everyone. That affects everyone out here, especially in my district. A lot of people in my district work in the tourist industry, and tourism has pretty much been shut down. I have one roommate that worked at the Disney resort that's just right down the street, and he's been furloughed since the whole pandemic started.
Yeah.
And so that's a big issue. That's a really big issue. There's a lot of people that are out of work, that even some of them can't even accept unemployment because of the kind of jobs they have were freelance jobs. And so they don't have that paycheck to show the government that, hey, they were making money and now they're not. Another issue that I'm trying to remedy is the gaming industry. We don't have gambling, which we are one of 2 states in the entire country that do not have gambling. And just about every week, if not every week, every month for sure, they're busting a gambling house out here. And it's, it's one thing to, I get some sides of this argument too. I really do, because I don't want a gambling house next to me. And it does attract a lot of people. When you're doing illegal things, it attracts more illegal people. But what a lot of people don't understand is when you've decriminalized it, it gets zoned. It gets permits that they have to go through. That it gets out of your neighborhood and out of the illegal bracket, and into a legal market. And you're now creating jobs for people. And once again, those jobs that, I mean, think about some of the people make good money. People make good money doing work under the table for things that like running a gambling house. Somebody's got to deal the cards. Somebody's got to serve some drinks. Somebody's got to take care of the door. Those are all jobs. Those are all real jobs. They're all getting paid. They're taking their job seriously too. And when you take that out of the illegal market, the black market, you make it not so that they're a criminal. Because these people that have these jobs, and that's what I'm going to call them, they're jobs, they have families too. They have bills to pay. They have things that they've got to support too.
Not to mention they paying taxes. I mean, they're still paying for things. They're contributors to the economy. And I don't understand why people don't make that relation in understanding the black market and how it works. But what you're trying to do is take that black market, legitimize it, and give them that professional status that they're well deserving of, you know?
And they are well deserving of it too, because a lot of these establishments, one of the last two breakups that have happened, game room breakups, the first one, they had their machines social distance. They had hand sanitizer out. The second one even said no mask, no entry. You know, these are people that are still abiding by even like the government's recommendations and mandates to run their business that is considered illegal. And they're being arrested and they're being taken to jail, away from their families, away from their business. And that to me is the part that is really disturbing to me, because I come from a family. I have a brother in jail, and these people that make these laws, I don't think they understand the ramifications of when you have a relative in jail. They don't understand that. They don't understand that it doesn't just affect that one person that you said was doing bad. It affects the whole family. It affects the community. It affects the school system. It reaches further. And the more families that we break up, the more crime we're going to have in the future.
Yeah, and it also adds to taxpayers. I mean, your neighbors in the community, if they're having to pay for the criminal justice system and it's, either housing those suspects or people, really, they're just people, housing them for these crimes in jail, and then going through the legal process of pursuing them for charges, etc. Those are all expenses that are passed down to us, we the people, the taxpayers. It has nothing to do with that family in particular, but yet we're paying for it. I just spoke with a gentleman who got pulled over for having the tail light out. White guy, by the way. He was pulled over for having the tail light out, and they planted some drugs in his car. And now he's battling a drug charge that, if he gets found guilty, he'll be ending up like spending 3 years in jail. Meanwhile, his wife is in the hospital, so he's taking care of his kids on his own. If he ends up going to jail, guess what happens to the kids? They get put into the system, and now they're in foster care, or, have to go through the legal process for maybe a family member or a guardian to have custody of them. So it, again, is an expense that we, the people, end up paying for. And you're absolutely right. The criminal justice system, it affects more people than, just that person alone. And
Can I give you some advice to telephone down to your friend, Mr. Governor?
What's that?
One piece of advice to telephone down to your friend.
All right.
Do not take a plea bargain. Go to court. Let the criminal justice system work its way out. And over 98% of the people that are in jail right now are in there under a plea bargain. And these people that are in there under a plea bargain, these prosecutors, the DA, they are looking for people just like your friend that are in a hard place, that maybe their significant others in the hospital or something. And they are looking for that to take a quick way out so they don't have to do their job and actually go to court and prove their case. Make them prove their case, because that is what is said in the Constitution. That's what I believe, and that's what I bought into, and that's what I was taught in school. So unless they were lying to us all the entire time, the correct way is to let the criminal justice system prove
Well, they have been lying to us. I mean, that's his greatest fear, is that he is going to go to court. He's going to challenge the charges because his public defender, public pretender, is already trying to negotiate a deal.
Of course he's trying to negotiate a deal.
Yeah,
as soon as he can be signed off with that case, he can get another one, get more money.
exactly. But if he ends up taking the deal, you know, like I said, he most likely may end up spending a year in jail, or half time, 6 months, or whatever the case may be. So that's his greatest fear. So it's unfortunate that this is the way our system is. We think it works, but it is extremely corrupt. It could care less about we, the people, and it's unfortunate. That's why we definitely need people like you that have a great understanding of it to actually reform it. But another thing that you brought up was about how the economy of Hawaii has actually, or your district in Hawaii has actually been affected by this lockdown, this coronavirus pandemic panic, more than the virus itself. And one of those industries is the travel industry. You know, Hawaii is big on tourism. I mean, it's a desolate area. So unless you're actually bringing in people from out of state to come see that beautiful, you know, island of yours, a lot of people are going to suffer, local businesses. So one thing that I want to ask you, because I just found out about this, is that the state of Hawaii is going to be forcing people to be tested for the coronavirus vaccine before they travel. That's to Hawaii and from Hawaii. So that's definitely going to reduce the amount of, you know, tourism that the Hawaii, the state of Hawaii, this island has experienced. So do you support the whole pre-travel COVID-19 testing bullshit?
I'm going to say I do support it, but let me explain why. And the reason why I support it is because of something I say a lot, and I'm going to say it again. What happens on the mainland affects Hawaii, but what happens in Hawaii doesn't affect the mainland. Okay? So in Hawaii, people from other countries come here. It's not just the United States. And I would, if I were to do some research on this exactly, I would probably come up with more people come from other countries to visit Hawaii than people from the United States. And these people are afraid to come to America right now because of the numbers rising in coronavirus. And it's not just, even if we did have the testing all complete and vaccines and everything, I feel like people are still going to be afraid to travel. And that's part of the reason why, for what I came up with, my ideas for revitalizing the economy, is we still incorporating some of the tourism industry with legalized gaming, but also it's because there's so many people that go to Hawaii or go to Las Vegas from Hawaii to go gamble, and that's kind of hypocritical for us not to allow it here. I know a lot of people that like their little games. They like the little slot machines. Shoot, I want a educational lottery. I want a lottery out here. And we've got to figure out ways that we can still employ people, generate income in-house, without sending people to another state. Because when we go to another state, it's not just a ride in a car down the interstate. We have to get on a plane. We have, it's a little bit more difficult. And I believe gaming will fill that need for our citizens to have a little entertainment, to have a little fun. If we zone it properly in the right areas, this could be something that is actually beneficial for Hawaii. I know that some people say, oh, gaming's going to lead to addiction. Well, I got news for you. Everyone's addicted to winning. Okay, I don't know anybody that likes to lose. No one likes to lose. And if the only win you get is in a game room, and that's because, your life kind of sucks, right? And so let them have a win. Let them have a win.
Not only that, but it doesn't address the addictive behaviors of the personality. Like you said, I mean, even something like winning can be addictive to somebody. It doesn't have to be a drug. It doesn't have to be alcohol. It doesn't have to be any type of substance. It can just simply be a feeling that people are addicted to. So yes, gaming in general could definitely jumpstart the economy there, provide a different source of revenue that I'm pretty sure the entire state could benefit from economically, as well as, like you said, attract more people to come to Hawaii, whether they be from America or for another country. But one thing I want to do is say about the whole coronavirus testing thing is, as much as they're trying to impose this upon us, what would be the point, especially seeing as, you know, the facts don't lie. And the facts say that this is a virus that has a 99% survival rate if you're under the age of 50, and a 97 to 98% survival rate if you're over that age. I mean, the president, he just had coronavirus and he's okay. So apparently the virus isn't as deadly as they're trying to make it seem, to where we should be forcefully tested against our will just to travel, just to exercise our natural God-given right to travel, wouldn't you say?
I got 3 points to make on that. First point, negotiation. Negotiation is going to the table with and asking for more than what you want, and
you don't negotiate with terrorists.
So no. I would rather get tested and be cleared of the virus and be able to travel than to be forced to get a vaccine, because that's the alternative. And I would much rather, like I said, get tested than get a vaccine that's forced upon me. I was in the military for 10 years. I had enough vaccines forced upon me. I don't know if I will choose to take a vaccine for the coronavirus or not. I mean, it was just in the news yesterday that that they're quitting trials on the vaccine because there were some really adverse side effects happening. Right. I would like to wait. And I'd rather get tested to, travel than to get a vaccine. Now, another point I want to make, saying getting tested to travel. Hawaii is a small island. We're a bubble. There's a reason why Hawaii wasn't discovered for so long, right? Because we're a tiny island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. And we could be a bubble of corona free. We could be a bubble of that. There's none of that here. You can travel here safely, right? And I think that's what we're trying. That's what the governor's idea was for getting testing to come in. Now, I don't know why he'd want to test to leave. That's kind of silly to me, and that's excessive. That's unnecessary. And the third point I wanted to make out is about the survival rate. And, I can't agree with you more. I mean, the Donald Trump surviving coronavirus, that says a lot. But he does have top care for that. Not everybody's going to have top care. Not everybody's going to have top care, and I feel like the health professionals have been doing a really good job of figuring out how to best combat this. I think if they were to take the data and the numbers and kind of reset them to like, all right, we're gonna take the data and numbers as of right now, forget everything that we did before, because when you get put on a ventilator for to breathe, that's invasive to your body. That's very invasive to your body, and it's almost like back in the dark ages when they were bloodletting and things like that. I'm not saying that that's what they were doing, but you learn. That's the point. You learn. They've learned that maybe that your body can overcome this on its own. There's different medication they can use, vitamins, different ways to go about the treatment of this illness without doing something that's so invasive, like putting someone on a ventilator, right?
Right. And that's the thing is, you're absolutely right as far as there being other medical options available, and not all of them are expensive. I guess this hydroxychloroquine shit that they talking about is supposedly cheap and could be readily made available. Not to mention, they're not even speaking about natural remedies, other ways that you can detox your body and rid yourself of any viral infection. These other, medical, cures or treatments aren't even being spoken of. They're going straight to the vaccine, going straight to, we need to test you first, and then making it mandatory in order for us to, again, just travel from one place to another. So it's a serious imposition upon us as human beings to be told that we're not.
I got a question for you. Are you a religious man, Governor?
Somewhat. I'm more of a spiritual man.
All right. Well, do you believe in the power of prayer?
Absolutely. More than anything.
I do too. And I have known some people that had the coronavirus and they all survived. And it was hard. But you know what they did? They prayed. They took it to God. And there is research and there is proof in the power of prayer. And I'm not saying that you can pray the corona away, but it ain't gonna hurt you either. It ain't gonna get right in your soul and cleanse your body from your soul to your physical manifestation. And that might sound a little like kind of cuckoo or whatever, but there's reality to it. There's truth in it.
Well, right? You're a person of faith, and you have more belief, more faith in our Creator than some public representatives, some elected officials saying, "Trust me." Fuck you. I don't want to trust you. I want to trust the person that put us all on this planet and put us all in this situation. And if I want to consult to a higher power, then leave me be. It's again that imposition, that forcing of and restricting of your natural rights as a human being that puts you in that dictatorial position to where now your life is being dictated by someone else. And you mentioned about how Hawaii is this desolate area, you know, and pretty much was long to be discovered. And one thing about this whole vaccination thing is it has a history of eugenics. And with Hawaii being one of those testing grounds, you know, for eugenics, is kind of suspect, you know, to think that this would be one of the places that they would you know, put that into effect, because it's a testing ground for this whole coronavirus testing phase. So I want to ask you, since Hawaii is one of those places where the indigenous people there were pretty much reduced, minimized, and still are, still have been due to denationalization. And, you know, it was the last state to be colonized here in the Union. And you got a lot of white people there. You got a lot of Japanese people there from World War II. But again, with regards to the indigenous people there, it's a lack of them having the freedom of expression. So I want to ask you, with regards to that situation in general, how has the denationalization of the people of Hawaii affected the culture of Hawaii?
The denationalization, are you talking about like as far as them not being a sovereign state anymore?
Exactly. Sovereign people.
There is a sovereignty movement out here in Hawaii, and I completely support it. And I say that without a lot of support from libertarians in Hawaii necessarily, but I do support it, and I do believe it's very libertarian in principle. Their voices are still heard. Their voices are still heard. They still echo. And I actually wish for them to wake up. I wish for them to be more. A lot of people got wind of the Hawaiian sovereignty movement when they heard that there were people protesting a 30-meter telescope out on the Big Island on Mauna Kea. People heard about that. And that was good. They united. They came together. The nation heard. And I think that here in Hawaii, if they were to do that it's a battle. You know, it's a battle. You gotta start small and work your way. But I fully support Hawaii's sovereignty movement, especially if they were to take it to a vote. And right now, we are in a time where America, because of our public education system, there's never been a time where more people can read and have access to information because of the internet. And if we were to take something like Hawaii's statehood or sovereignty to a vote, I believe it'd be a fair vote, and it'd be the first time that we've had a fair vote out here. And I think that's a step in healing process. That's the step, is you have a vote. Now that people are educated at the same level, can read, can have the same rights. It's not just the landowners that can vote. It's everybody. Mm-hmm. And I think that's important. And like I said, I would I would like to see more. I would like to see more of their movements. And there is a sovereignty movement out here. There are people that wish to not be a part of the U.S. as a state and have their own sovereignty. Because just the way that Hawaii was taken over, it's not diplomatic. It's not something that we would have done in 2020 right now. We would never have done something.
Unless it's another country and they got oil.
We would have made a mistake. We would not have made the mistake.
Right. Exactly. But I mean, it's
pick your head up for their state, but we wouldn't have made them a part of us. And we have created them. And
so it's good to hear someone such as yourself that is seeking to be a public representative actually advocating for that. I'm pretty sure, hopefully, the people of Hawaii, actual indigenous people of Hawaii, will be supportive of you and making sure that you actually get that seat so you can help them out in that effort. Another thing that I want to attach to that, because it kind of ties into what happens here over on the mainland, is this issue of racial sensitivity and racial injustice and racism in general. It having, systemic roots in racism. And that's something that's definitely well aware of here in to the people of America. And of course, with the state of Hawaii, I want to ask, of course, since you are someone that's been a long-time resident of Hawaii, do you think, and you lived in Florida and other states in here on the mainland or whatever the case, but is racism real or is it all just in our heads?
I have a really unique perspective of that, and it's all because of my name. Racism is real. I'm gonna say that right now. Racism is real. It's 100% real. Anytime someone can classify and put someone else in a category based off of whatever they deem necessary, really, it's walking your way to racism and discrimination. So my name's Feena. I was born with the name Feena. I haven't always had the last name of Bonoan, but didn't have any help with my maiden name either because it was DeWiggins. And growing up in North Carolina, in their school system, they'd call roll first day of class, and I would see the look on the teacher's face. She's looking all through the classroom. Where's that Feena DeWiggins? Where is she at? And then and I'm like sitting here like, hey, it's me, And then she sees me, and the look of relief on her face was something I can't forget it because it happened so many times. The look of relief, and I didn't understand it then. I didn't understand it, and so now as an adult, and it's 2020, and I'm not in school anymore. I've been on job interviews where I put my application in, talked to them on the phone. They were really excited about meeting me. I pretty much got the job over the phone, and then they meet me. And that same thing happens just in kind of a reverse. They look disappointed. I'm not what they thought they were. And I was talking to my aunt this week, my aunt that raised me, and I told her about, I think a lot of how people treat you is based off of their first impressions. And no one likes to be wrong. No one likes to be wrong. No one likes to be proved wrong or whatever, have their assumptions wrong, right? And make them reflect, right? And every time someone met me, they were pretty much being proved wrong because they see my name and it doesn't match the face. I've had many people come up to me as well when it's like one of those just sign in kind of things. And they're like, you didn't sign in. I'm like, no, honey, I did. She's like, I'm looking. I'm like, well, it's not Becky. So racism is real. There's all kinds of profiling. And like I said, I see it with just based off a name. If I can see it based off my name, off of my experience, I can see it based off of my name. I know it's happening to others. I know it's happening to others on a much larger scale.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's sad that there's a growing population of people that is just ignorant to that fact and think it's all just water under the bridge. Oh, that was hundreds of years ago, not taken into accordance that, these were still racial tensions happening in our country as late as the 70s, and those children that were around then became adults, and those are the racist adults that we're dealing with now. And
it's not necessarily them being racist either. A lot of it has to do with nepotism. If you don't know what that is, that's when you take someone under your wing because they're just like you. Well, when you are a white male, growing up in a privileged household, suburbia, whatever, do you think you're going to take under your wing somebody that you can relate to, play golf with, they went to the same high school and colleges that you did, or are you going to relate to somebody that had to come up harder? Are you going to relate to somebody that doesn't look like you? Are you going to relate to a woman instead of a man?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could also boil down to, financial class. I spoke with a former police officer, Rick Stewart, who is running for office out in Iowa. And he told me, just based on him being a member of the middle class and the majority of the people in his area, being middle class citizens, that they saw people of the lower class as being easily disposable, and you're right, that nepotism can come in many shapes and forms. And it's sad that that is a prejudice that we still have to deal with and kind of overcome in so many ways. I mean, another one is
there's another word that, instead of saying prejudice, people say preference. They don't have prejudice against somebody, but they have preference to another person. And where does that preference stem from? That's always my question when people say, I have a preference to this. Okay, cool. Let's talk about what your preferences are.
Now, see, that's some new age shit right there. That's somebody that's really getting crafty about avoiding their prejudices to where they're saying, well, it's a preference. Oh, now we're doing wordplay,
Yeah.
So another thing is because since you are running as a libertarian against a Democrat, and I've been telling all of my conservative watchers out there, so-called Republicans, which they are not, neocons, really they are, that if you really want to get rid of the Democrats in office, vote for whoever the fuck is running against them. Like you're running against a longtime Democrat. You are a libertarian, but if the GOP and the Republican Party actually supported you as a candidate, then you would win. But they got this tribalism where they don't focus on strategy enough to say, okay, this is what we could be doing to gain more House seats, gain more voices in the public arena.
So Hawaii has a super majority of Democrats here, super majority. There's not enough Republicans running for office. There's not enough Libertarians running for office. There's a lot of seats that go uncontested. My opponent had been running uncontested. Why do you think with him?
That's ridiculous. And that boils down to that preference bullshit. So I want to ask you, and this will be my last question. I'll let you go. I know you're a pretty busy woman, and of course, with you running your election, I want to give you all the time that you need to win. But with regards to that preference and them focusing on the R and D and L, are libertarians just Republicans who love weed? Have you heard that before? And since you're a weed smoker, what do you think about that?
If I was ever going to be a Republican that just loved weed, I would have done that in North Carolina, where it was super easy to do, and all my family's a Republican that smokes weed, a lot of them. I've never been that. I've got two reasons why. I got three, really. Let me start with the first one. I'm a second generation libertarian. I was raised bread and butter on liberty and freedom.
All right.
So I like my guns, I like my weed, and I like the government not telling me I can't have either one of them. The next reason why, because of the Republicans do not have a good reputation for being inclusive. The Republicans do not have a good reputation for being inclusive towards the LGBTQ. the Republicans do not have a good reputation about being inclusive to people of color. The Republicans do not have a good reputation of allowing people to leave their country if they are in need to leave their country. That's open borders. You know, if something bad were to, okay, so what if I just had enough with all the oppression and tyranny in America? I want to leave America, like all the Republicans say. If you don't like it here, leave it. Well, what if all the countries have the same kind of program that we do? I can't leave.
Right.
You know, so no, I'm not a Republican that likes to smoke weed. Wow, no. Furthermore, you know, people say, okay, well, maybe it's just Democrats that like their guns.
Mm-hmm.
The Libertarian Party, we're pretty queer. I'm just gonna say we're pretty queer, all right? We're so queer that a lot of Democrats won't let us in. Kind of queer.
I like what you said about the Republicans, about them non-being inclusive and pretty much just taking advantage of them. I mean, they invite in those people that they view as outsiders when it best serves them, and especially when it attacks the narrative of liberals and Democrats, people that see them as being that non-inclusive party. So that's when they want to invite you in, opposed to where the Democrats feel privileged to those type of people. They feel like, of course, you're supposed to be a Democrat because you're gay, or
you better fit in those lines. You better fit in those lines, though. Ooh.
Exactly. More boxes for us to fit in. Or, you know, you love weed. Of course, you must be a Democrat. But like you said, there are people that don't fall in that political box, that spectrum, that actually have a broader view of our freedom and liberties as individuals, but they're pigeonholing people by saying you must be either or. And that's really why I'm running as a Republican, so I can show them the Republican Party started out being a party of abolitionists. I am definitely that. I'm an abolitionist. We want to end shit, shut it down. And I think that's what's true to the core of libertarians. You know, we definitely want to abolish the role of our government and reduce that significantly by abolishing the policies that have limited and restricted our freedoms as individuals. So
I was talking to our party chair out here in Hawaii this week, because we're talking what if scenarios. Holy shit, what if I win? What now? You know, and I've been thinking about what kind of politician do I want to be remembered as? What kind of legacy do I want to leave as a libertarian? I thought of other libertarians that have been politicians and elected officials, and the first one that came to my mind was Governor Gary Johnson. He was known as the veto governor.
Yeah.
You shall not pass.
Exactly. Hey, Ron Paul, he was known as Dr. No. Anytime a policy came up, any bill, no. No.
Yeah.
You just got to say no sometimes, you know? And if you got to be the only one on the damn Senate floor or whatever saying no, then that's definitely going to set you apart from all the rest. So I truly appreciate you being here. I mean, our viewers, they got low attention span, so I don't want to hold them too long, as well as yourself. And I do appreciate you for answering all of my questions, because none of my guests ever know what the hell I'm going to say. So,
I had no idea what you were going to say either. Hey.
I can see the fear in your eyes. She was like, oh, damn, what the hell have I done? But you handled this. Oh, I got that one too. Beautiful. There we go.
Thanks, girl.
Mask, right? And this is how we need to start going out there and expressing or rebelling against these damn mask mandates. Is, hey, have some fun with it. Enjoy
your Halloween, baby. I got my mask on.
Exactly. There we go. You got a perfect excuse now. Well, you look wonderful, Feena Bonoan. And like I said, hopefully once you get on that Senate floor, you'll be a shining beacon for liberty and freedom for we the people. So I wish you all of the best of success with your campaign. And
good luck to you too. Good luck to you, Governor. I hope to be calling you Governor for real.
Hey, for sure. If we can make that happen, definitely. I would love to be a servant of the people, just as you have been. So thank you again for being here on the Black Side of Liberty, Feena.
Peace.
Peace out to you, love. Take care.
Bye-bye.
All right, you guys, that again is Feena Bonoan, who is a candidate running for Senate out there in Hawaii, District 20. Please be sure to check her out right there down at the bottom of the screen. Feena, the number 4, district20.com. Please check her out ASAP. Please make a contribution to her campaign. It's hard for us libertarians to get the capital that we need to actually run successful campaigns. As you heard her say, she's out there doing the sign waving, trying to get more people to know who she is, and it's just her and her husband. Let's get her some volunteers. So if you out there in Hawaii, definitely be sure to contact her. Let her know that you want to go out there. You want to let more people know about her campaign, even if you got to go door to door to do so. Make sure that everybody out there in Hawaii knows who the hell Feena Bonoan is, and make sure she gets elected into that Senate District 20 seat so she can get that damn career politician, Democrat, Republican, sitting in that seat out of office right now. Again, head on over to Feena4district20.com and get involved with her campaign today, okay? And as she said, I am running for governor of California, and I definitely could use the support from her as well as from all of you. So please head on over to my crowd pack. You know what we do. Head on over to crowdpack.com/C/Wildstar4Gov. Make a contribution today. My man, Rick Stewart, who was on my show last week, he actually made a contribution for $25. See, he's an actual candidate running for office himself, and he paid it forward by making sure that I have the opportunity to take over the state of California. So no matter where you are in the world, you definitely can aid in that effort and making sure that we can reconstitute the state of California, bring back liberty, which is exactly what I'm going to do and will do once I'm elected governor of California. So head on over to crowdpack.com/C/Wildstar4Gov. Make a contribution today. Any contribution, every contribution definitely helps. So please definitely give whatever you can. And if you don't want to give to me to make sure that I can get elected to office, at least give to the Recall Gavin 2020 team so we can get our tyrannical governor out of office right now. That's recallgavin2020.com. It's right there at the bottom of the screen. Head on over to the website, print out that petition, sign that petition, circulate that petition in your neighborhood, friends and family, have them all sign, send that in, and let's get the governor out of office now. If we do that, then you have an opportunity to vote for me sooner, and that's what we want. We want that special election right here, right now in the state of California, and first, we got to recall the governor to do so. So head on over to recallgavin2020.com, make a contribution by clicking on donate, okay? And help out the recall team so we can be seen and heard by more people. The news, mainstream media don't want to talk about it much because they're mainly owned by liberal publications. So it's up to people like you and me to spread the word and let others out there know that we want to get rid of Gavin Newsom now. Speaking of people that want to get rid of Gavin Newsom, We Have Rights. Head on over to wehaverights.org. It's a nonprofit organization that I'm working with to help reopen the state of California. We've been hosting protests all up and down the state, mobilizing tens of thousands of people to put pressure on the governor to let him know that we want to reopen California now. We want to reopen businesses. We want to reopen schools. We want to reopen churches so we can actually praise in peace with our friends and family members and our congregation. So please head on over to wehaverights.org and make a contribution to them as well, because those rallies do cost thousands of dollars, okay? We need that money so we can make sure that we have volunteers, that we have, PA equipment and bottled waters to pass out to people, and other speakers even charge fees, speaking fees. And we want to make sure that these rallies are as impactful as possible. And it takes money, dollars and cents, to make that happen. And the establishment has all the money in the world, and they're making sure that their establishment candidates and their idea and their agenda has a platform. We got to create our own. So we got to invest into each other So please definitely, like I said, head on over to wehaverights.org and make a contribution today. And of course, you guys know that my lady, Crystal Wildstar, she will be here tomorrow on the Black Side of Liberty, or not that, the Black Side of Liberty, but with her own show, Crystal Room Wednesdays, on the Governor Wildstar YouTube channel. So please definitely be sure to hit subscribe. Come back tomorrow every Wednesday for Crystal Room Wednesdays, where you can speak with my wife, Crystal Wildstar, who is an intuitive counselor and will provide you with all sorts of information, whether you have questions about your love life, career, this coronavirus lockdown, anything, everything. Just ask her a question and she'll provide you with her gifted insight abilities to provide as much advice as possible. So come back every Wednesday for Crystal Room Wednesdays right here on the Governor Wildstar YouTube channel, or on her Facebook page, which is Crystal's Healing Arts, right here, Crystal's Healing Arts on Facebook. Make sure you follow her there. And definitely be sure to come back Thursday when I'll be speaking with Brianna Coyle, who is the outreach director for the Outright Libertarians. She has been very active as far as trying to help those candidates that she's been working with out there in New York and bring more attention to the GSM community by getting involved with the Outright Libertarians. So please come on back Thursday when we speak with Brianna Coyle, who again is the outreach director for Outright Libertarians. So to all of my beings of light, art, culture, and knowledge out there, I appreciate you all for watching all of the comments that you guys dropped during the time. No, I'm not going to take off my damn mask. I'm going to keep it on until I'm not forced to wear a mask anymore. I'm going to wear this mask in solidarity with those out there that are fighting their oppressive governments, whether you're here in America, whether you're in England, whether you're in Quebec or Istanbul, or wherever y'all be contacting me from. I'm with you. Please wear your mask, okay? Say fuck the system, and let's get rid of the system by taking it over, okay? We got to overthrow our damn government. Together we shall. So I appreciate you all for being here right here on the Black Side of Liberty. Definitely, like I said, come back Thursday where we talk to Brianna Coyle, and we'll talk a bit more, all right? So till then, long live liberty, y'all. I'm about